and welcome to the 2024 edition of NCSMI News. I'm Eli Bishop from Watauga High School.
And I'm Paul A. Likey from West Johnson High School. Thanks for joining us.
North Carolina's High School Press Association was officially established 83 years ago, so this year's group of students are just one of many who have honed their media skills at NCSMI. Reporter Tyler Harbin of West Brunswick High School tells us more about the program.
This is Carroll Hall, and this is where all 150 students here at NCSMI will come together out of the 25 schools.
I come here to learn more. Like right now I'm doing the photojournalism, and I'm taking it and doing less about photojournalism, more about photography. And like last year I did the Rush, and it was really interesting seeing like how fast you produce a paper in the news.
NCSMI to me is an opportunity for teachers like myself to come with their students to learn hands-on techniques about journalism and media.
During the 3-day program, students had dinner at the Blue Zone. They were also put into groups based on their goals.
I think being editor-in-chief this year will help me do everything I need to do to make this yearbook successful and better than every year before that.
Students completed their projects and learned skills that they can bring back to their next school year. I'm Tyler Harbin, and that's NCSMI News.
One of the biggest media events this year will be the 2024 presidential election. And while candidates often focus on older voters, the number of younger voters is increasing. Reporter Max Kinneman from Fred T. Ford High School joins us with more. Max?
According to census data, Gen Z's voter turnout in 2022 was higher than that of Gen Xers and Millennials when they were in the 18 to 24 voting bloc. As you can see here, 28.4% of Gen Z voters hit the polls in 2022. Looking back to the 1990 election, only 23.5% of Gen Xers voted. And 23% of millennials voted in the 2006 election. A reason for this could be Gen Z's attitudes towards voting.
Even though I feel like there are better candidates than those two, I feel the ones that we have right now that are up for them, it's important for everyone to go vote because it is your right. It is your right to live in this country, and it is your right to go vote. And so you have the power to make a decision not only for yourself, but for your peers and for your family.
I feel that it's part of my duty as a citizen to vote.
Besides feeling it's your obligation, voting can be for more reasons than just having the right. For Haley Rodriguez, her decision to vote in this upcoming election is pushed by her values and views.
As long as they're a good person and they can explain themselves and have moral and ethical reasoning to back their whatever they're saying, then I think more people are more likely to listen to them and follow them and understand where they're coming from.
With a possible change coming in leadership and policy after the next presidential election, Georgia Chapman has passion for the topic of gun violence and wants to vote for the change she hopes to see.
I think that's a big issue that I think needs to be focused on, especially just to help keep our campuses safe, because the #1 priority in coming to school is to learn not to be scared of what could happen when you walk outside.
President Biden and Trump will face off in the first presidential debate on June 27th, so be sure to tune in to hear from the candidates. Paul, Eli?
Thanks, Max. One of the major election issues this year is the environment. Many individuals and organizations are making changes to try to do their part. Reporter Joshua Deisman of West Johnson High School has more on what UNC Chapel Hill is doing to improve environmental sustainability on campus.
With the rise of climate change and the need for environmental sustainability, UNC Chapel Hill is finding ways to stay green and stay cool.
I think climate change is super important. As for how UNC can combat it, I think spreading resources to students to do their job, but also calling for accountability with the corporations that they do business with, I think is super important.
UNC Chapel Hill has already taken big measures in sustainable practices on campus, including the Curtis Media Building right behind me. Broadcast engineer Gary Kirk goes deeper into the process and environmental impacts of the building.
In 2021, we opened the Curtis Media Center for the Hussman School of Journalism and Media. And one of the cool things about it was that it is part of the Green Initiative for UNC. And we are the first carbon neutral building on campus. The entire top of the building behind me here is covered in solar panels. So we actually make more more energy than what we use, which is pretty cool considering that the building is one of the most technologically advanced buildings on the campus.
The university plans to continue its efforts in environmental sustainability and find ways to limit the effects of climate change on campus. In Chapel Hill, I'm Joshua Dyson reporting.
It's a controversial topic. Should standardized tests be a required part of a college application? During the COVID pandemic, the answer was no. But as reporter Margaret Green of Watauga High tells us, that no could soon be a yes.
At Chapel Hill Admissions, the game is changing, making students question what it really takes to get your name in the yes pile.
I think UNC specifically considers a lot of your extracurriculars when applying, but I do think having a high ACT accompanied with a high GPA and everything else makes you a really well-rounded student for UNC.
I think it really depends on the type of high school. I think bigger high schools that are private, I think they're going to look at that and say, hey, this is a private school, this is a highly competitive school, so we're going to admit a little bit more, a little bit less. But I think if you come from a public school and you're one of the top 10 in your class, I think it's going to be make your chances a little bit higher.
Since COVID, high school seniors applying for Chapel Hill have not been required to submit ACT and SAT scores, but that will soon change.
I think they're coming back. I don't think that they're going away. I think that was mostly just because of COVID.
The UNC Board of Governors have already announced that test scores will be required starting with the class of 2026. Though many other prestigious colleges are already considering test scores in this year's applications, some Chapel Hill students think standardized tests should be discontinued.
Oh, it's better to be well-rounded, by far. I think the standardized test should be done entirely. So.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Margaret Green, reporting.
One of the best parts of being in Chapel Hill is getting a chance to try out all of the different food in town. Reporter Madeline Topham of East Mecklenburg High School went on a quest to find out what restaurant current UNC students like the best.
Franklin Street is home to many restaurants, but when we asked students what restaurant can't be missed, the same answer came up over and over again: Top of the Hill.
I think the location's pretty big, and well, they have a lot of good alcohol too if you're 21 or older. It's a great view of a four-way on Franklin.
This is Top of the Hill, which has been described as a unique staple of Chapel Hill. It was founded in 1996 by former Carolina law student Scott Maitland and is a central part of campus life. It's a delicious, iconic, and unique experience for students and visitors alike.
I think that Top of the Hill is just a classic Chapel Hill restaurant. I was able to be invited into Top of the Hill for the game, and it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I went upstairs out onto the deck and got to see 40,000 people rush Franklin Street after we beat Duke.
So the next time you're in Chapel Hill, you might want to give Topo a visit. It's a restaurant and brewery made by students for students.
In Chapel Hill, Madeline Topham, NCSMI News.
So Eli, I have a question for you. Do you think you could tell the difference between a real picture and one that's created by AI?
Well, Paul, I'd like to think so.
Well, as technology is getting better, many people are getting worse at being able to tell the difference. Reporter Jaden Sutton of West Johnson High School did his own tests on campus.
AI is everywhere, but can you tell a deepfake from the real thing? We went to UNC's fraternity court to find out.
We showed people a real and a deepfake image and asked them to decipher the two.
Deepfakes are usually an image, audio, or video created by AI that could lead to the spreading of false information or the damaging of reputation.
I would guess, let me take a look. I would guess the one on they're very convincing.
Yeah.
So one of these is real and one of these is
One of them are real,
fake.
one of them fake.
I would guess the one on the left is the real, the one on the right is the AI fake.
The right. Tell which one's the real one, which one's the fake.
This looks fake. Wait, that's crazy. I was gonna say that this looks fake. The smooth guy looks fake.
That's what they always say.
Yeah, I'd say so.
That's actually surprisingly the right one. That's the real one.
Okay, darn. I was gonna say the other one.
75% of the people we spoke to were unable to distinguish between a real image from a deepfake, which showcases the challenges that AI can present. In Chapel Hill, Jaden Sutton, NCSMI News.
And that's it for this year's NCSMI News. Thanks for joining us.
Have a wonderful rest of the summer and safe travels home.